Hello, how's it going? Welcome to a brand new video and something that we've not done for a very long time. It is what I used to call a channel update, and well, essentially that's what it's going to be. It's not just going to be an update on the channel though, but it's also going to be an update of what's going on in the life of Captain Goodspeed and maybe why things haven't been quite as smooth or maybe quite as content heavy as you would normally expect from the channel. So yeah, hopefully you enjoy the little update. Obviously, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section and all of that good stuff. But first things first, a big thank you to everybody who has been coming into the channel and checking out all of the videos, getting involved in the comment section, leaving all their likes. I have been really terrible at replying to comments recently, but I do read them all every day, multiple times a day. I am checking the YouTube Studio app and reading through comments at the bottom, and I always do read them. I might not always respond to them. Sometimes I respond immediately, but I am reading them. I do assure you for that. And yeah, I do appreciate all of the extra interaction that we've had on the channel recently, especially because certain series haven't been coming out. And I know that that is a big disappointment to some people. And speaking of the content, there's a few things I want to address of why certain series haven't returned or why they've just gone off the radar. And we will start with a top spin. Of course, the US Open is going on at the moment. It would probably be a perfect time to be releasing some top spin videos. I'll explain later, but essentially top spin isn't ever going to be a series that is finished. It will be one that comes in when I've got maybe a little bit more time to have a second series on the channel. At the moment, we have got F1 Manager, the Lotus series, and that is our daily content at the moment. And you know, I'm really enjoying that. Hopefully you guys are enjoying that as well. And it's always a big game on the channel every year, F1 Manager, and it is one that you kind of have to do every day, otherwise it'll take ages and ages to get through the seasons. So we're coming up to the end of season 2 now. I anticipate it probably being a 4 or 5 season project. I don't think it will be daily for that whole amount of time. Obviously, Football Manager is around the corner. Football Manager 25. EA Sports FC 25 is coming out soon as well. And those are two big games for the channel as well. And we'll see how F1 Manager will fit in around that. But Top Spin will definitely be back. You've got no worries about that. I absolutely love Top Spin to bits. It's a game I've really been enjoying. So glad it is back in our hands, and yeah, long may it continue, because I absolutely love Top Spin. On the back of that, there is also the F1 Manager Ferrari series, which, of course, we started 2 series at the same time. I do regret that now. I thought it was a way of trying to sort of branch out to both sets of fans. So you've got the fans of the Creator Team series, and you've got the fans of the traditional run and gun series, if you like. And yeah, I do regret that. Sort of tried to be a bit of a jack of all trades of F1 Manager content, and I think ultimately became the master of none. I am very proud of the Lotus series, and to be fair, from a very early stage of that series, that's the one I was enjoying the most. That's the one I wanted to go back and play. And I've not really had any desire to go back to the Ferrari one. I know that that is a disappointment for some people, but it's true. And ultimately, I'm not going to spend an hour of my evening recording a series that I'm not enjoying, and putting in all of those editing time, you know, editing minutes and uploading minutes, hours, in fact, it takes to upload an F1 Manager video. So I'm not doing that for Ferrari. So unfortunately, I know has a lot of fans. It was nowhere near as popular as the Lotus series, but the Ferrari series is gone, certainly for now. It might be something we come back to once we've done the Lotus series and come back and finish off the Ferrari one. So I'm not writing it off forever. I think that kind of makes sense once we've done the Lotus career to come back, do the Ferrari career, obviously get Lewis Hamilton his 8th world title. That's the plan anyway with that. In terms of cricket captain, that's another game I've written down. I know a lot of people were disappointed I only did one video of that, but again, when I explain what's been going on, you'll probably be like, right, okay, so he's had to prioritise, and I will get to that towards the end of the video. So cricket captain, just a one and done this year. Didn't really have the interest of continuing that on, and I tend to find that I can't. These days, I can't really do a cricket captain series every year. I just don't have the motivation or the enjoyment of cricket at the moment to do that, and that's just the way it is. The other one, obviously, Tennis Manager, that came out in about May time. That was one I wanted to do a little bit more content on, but again, it came out around GCSE exam time, and if for those of you that are maybe new around here or don't know, I am a full-time maths teacher. GCSE exam period is an incredibly stressful time, especially for maths teachers and English teachers. It is for all teachers, but maths and English are obviously the one that every single child in the school does, and there's a lot of pressure on getting them their pass. So, and particularly this year, the class I had, you know, were right on the boundary. They got fantastic results in the end. Incredibly proud of all of them. If any of you are watching, hello, hope you're doing well. But yeah, that was an incredibly stressful time. So trying to keep the content to one a day is what I've had to do. And you know, I'm very proud of my record of continually bringing out F1 Manager video, just any videos on the channel every single day since the 1st of January 2021, I believe. So we will be coming up for 4 consecutive years of daily content without missing a single day. So that is amazing. And we're well over 4,000 videos now. It's been a crazy time. You know, we're coming up on the 9th anniversary of the channel as well, so on the 12th of September, so that's going to be really exciting as well, and obviously the big 1-0 next year, that's going to be amazing. But the other game I've not mentioned now, this is a difficult one because obviously I've had some sponsored content from this game, and I think I'm okay talking about this now. This isn't a sponsored video about Tiebreak, and we are, you know, a good couple of weeks into the cycle of that game. So just to be completely open and transparent with everybody, I was approached by a company that were representing Tiebreak, and they said, you know, we'd like to get you involved in a campaign. You guys know me, I would have been playing Tiebreak anyway. They were going to pay me for 5 videos, or sponsor 5 videos, and 5 social posts. Essentially, is what they said they wanted to do, which is something I've never ever had the opportunity to do before. I've never ever done a sponsored video by a video game. I've never been paid by developers to play their game. It felt a no-brainer because it was a game that I was going to play on the channel anyway. So obviously I said yes, and there were certain stipulations in that contract of doing a sponsorship that I wasn't allowed necessarily to be negative about the game. I was absolutely fair game to be constructive of the game, and that's exactly what I'm going to be. But, you know, people were saying, would you recommend this over Top Spin 2K25? And that actually really, that was something I've really struggled with, because, and that's one of the reasons I haven't been answering comments recently, because my honest answer could be perceived as being negative towards Tiebreak, and I don't really want that to be the case. I'm obviously incredibly biased towards Topspin. I've absolutely loved Topspin. You know, I've done lots of Topspin 4 videos before we even got on to Topspin 2K25, so it felt almost wrong of me to say Topspin or to say Tiebreak indeed. But yeah, that was one of the stipulations with it. I've done non-sponsored videos with it as well. We obviously did part 2 and 3 of the career mode. Now, I have some big issues with Tiebreak, and it's echoed in a lot of what is said in my comment sections as well. So I think this is a fairly general view, and I think in 6 months that game's going to be great if Big Ant keep up their support of it, which they've not always been fantastic with games in the past, but I'm fairly confident because the ATP and the WTA are behind it. I'm fairly confident that they will get it right, and it's for me, it's as simple as having to use these back buttons every time you are playing a shot. So when you are playing a forehand, you need to be pressing R2, getting into position, playing the forehand. When you want to play a backhand, you have to. And I don't think that's very intuitive. There's never really been a tennis game that has done that before, to my knowledge, and I'm not really sure what they were thinking by implementing that. I can see where they were going. They're trying to get you to think about your positioning a lot more, but it just really ended up being confusing. I'd end up pressing L2. Because you're also directing the analog stick the opposite way, it's actually quite difficult to conceptualize that in your head, and that really affected my enjoyment of the game. And it was really that one thing. There wasn't much else I was critical about, I think, or constructive about, shall we say. I think the idea behind the game, the amount of players, the roster is fantastic. You know, the amount of licenses they've got is brilliant. And I really love that each of the players has their individual personality. Another thing that really brought down my enjoyment was actually playing the Djokovic Slam Challenge. I think that is an incredible mode, and I think it's such a good idea. It's just completely ruined by the fact that the difficulty is set at easiest for the first matches, then it gradually increases, and presumably it'll be on expert when you get to the last match. But why can't you pick your own difficulty? Maybe they could have got around it by giving you a bronze if you completed it on easiest to medium. They could have given you a silver if you played it on hard, and maybe a gold if you played it on expert. Just something like that. Yeah, it just unfortunately ruined any enjoyment. We were winning every single set 6-love, but this is where the difficulty was, is that I'd already agreed to do 3 videos on the Djokovic Slam Challenge as part of the campaign, if you like. And we'd sort of came back and forth about it. You know that the content on the channel started late, because they wanted their campaign to line up with the US Open, which is understandable, but it almost killed the series for me in terms of getting content out for you guys and getting stuff for people to watch. That's something I've always prided myself on, is getting it out nice and early and getting a large volume of videos out for you guys to enjoy, and hopefully make your own decision on whether you want to buy the game or not. And if you can't afford the game, you get to enjoy it still. And that's always been my philosophy of gaming. So Tiebreak has been a very interesting game for me because it's got a hell of a lot of potential. I think at its core, it's a very, very enjoyable game. It's got lots of authenticity in there. The graphics are great. I know people go on and on about graphics. People will never be happy about that. I think the graphics for a sports game, at least, are great. And I think that it could be the best tennis game ever. There's just certain things with the controls. You're not really able to play flat shots very well. That holds back the enjoyment for me personally. And I hope that I can come back in 6 months' time when there's been a few patches and I can play the game and really enjoy it. Because actually in early access, I really love Tiebreak. And I know they changed it a lot between early access and the full release. I just... It's untapped potential at the moment. So sorry for rambling about that, but I wanted to be open. I wanted to be honest with you guys and sort of keep you in the loop of why certain things were the way they were with Tiebreak. I know lots of people were like, oh, why are you doing the Djokovic Slam Challenge and not career mode? And that's simply because it was part of the campaign that I was a part of. Otherwise, I might have done it. But it's difficult because I really did enjoy the Djokovic Slam Challenge. It's just, unfortunately, it wasn't good content. It really wasn't. You know, in my view, wanting to make every video that I put out there the best video I've ever made. I very much don't succeed with that, but that's always the goal. Whenever I click start recording, I want to be enthusiastic. I want to be ready to make the best video ever. And it just fell a little bit flat because I couldn't up the difficulty. And if I could, I mean, that third video is by far the best because I had such a challenge beating Andy Murray in that Australian Open. And I think mainly because I was used to playing on easy by that point, through no real fault of my own. So, yeah. Tiebreak won't be returning for a while. So, yeah, I do apologise about that. Topspin will be back, I hope, fairly soon. I really do. Possibly even this weekend for the US Open final. We might slip a few videos in there. Obviously, looking to the future, I've already mentioned Football Manager 2025. I've already mentioned the EA Sports FC 25, which is another big game for the channel. Sorry, completely lost my train of thought there. And another series lots of people have been asking back for is the F1 series in Season 2 of the Lewis Hamilton Career Mode. Again, that is something I really want to get into. Because we're sort of past the hype stage of F1 24, I'm kind of thinking loosely of doing it after Christmas as we're really getting excited for Lewis Hamilton starting at Ferrari in 2025. By then, F1 24 will have been hugely patched. It'll be almost issueless. So I'm almost thinking, let's do it after Christmas. Let's forward plan that and think about putting that in there for that hype of Lewis Hamilton after Christmas. And really, I want to continue growing the channel. It's always been a bit of a dream of mine to maybe do this part-time or full-time. Obviously, at the moment, it is purely a hobby. It is something I earn a little bit of money from, but it is a hobby. I'm doing it for enjoyment. But I hope you've noticed some of the things I've tried to do to up the quality of the channel. I think a big improvement I've made over the last 18 months to 2 years is thumbnails. I think thumbnails are a lot better. I have talked to a few different graphics designers. They've put some stuff together for me, and I've sort of taken ideas and tried to implement my own with that as well. And I think thumbnails are on the up. The next real step with that is video editing, and it's something I've absolutely always hated. My least favourite part about YouTube by far is putting the video that you've just recorded into the editing suite and trying to make it better. And I'm not very good at that. As you guys know, I tend to leave stuff in. Everything is live commentated. Because that's just natural for me. And I've had a hell of a lot of compliments recently of how good commentary is, and people, funnily enough, saying you should have a job on Sky Sports or you should have a job on BBC Match of the Day, which I really do appreciate. Again, that would be another dream of mine, is to do some commentary. But so thank you very much for all of those comments. They really do help me out. And it's something that's quite unbelievable, really, that people enjoy the commentary so much. And it is something that I'm very passionate about. It's the live commentary side of this, getting my live reactions and not overhyping everything. And maybe that'll be to my detriment. Maybe if I was somebody that did overhype things and shouted at 100 decibels, then maybe I'd have more subscribers by now. But, we've got to be very, very proud of the achievement. We're nearly at 30,000 subscribers now. The great dream, of course, is the big 100k. If I could get to there and get the plaque, I'd be just incredibly happy. So I think that's probably the ultimate goal, is to get there, and above that would be to possibly do this part-time or full-time going forward. But that's a long, long way in the future, in all honesty. So yeah. In terms of what else is happening in my life and maybe why things have slowed down a little bit on the channel and certain series just haven't continued or been released as often as you would have expected. So obviously I am a full-time teacher. I've just returned back to work, actually, and we had a very, very busy 6-week holidays, and people are going to be like, oh, poor Joe, first world problems. I'm not complaining about this at all. It was a fantastic summer. Really, really loved it. We went down to London for a few days, had a fantastic time there. Went back to the northeast to visit my family. Always love going back to the northeast, and went to Barcelona within the 6 weeks. All just for short bursts of time, nothing silly. But that was a huge time sink, of course, in the summer, which is when I normally have the most content ever. There was a few summers ago. I did 3 videos a day for the whole summer. Oh, those were the days, weren't they? But yeah, it was a very, very busy summer. And right at the end of the summer, we started planning a wedding. So yes, that is right. Captain Goodspeed is getting married in 2025. I'm not going to divulge the date that it is, but it is going to be in mid-2025 in the summer holidays. So, July, August next year. And that is news that I've sort of been holding on to from a YouTube point of view since Christmas. We've actually been engaged since Christmas Day. That's not something that I've obviously shared with anybody on YouTube, but that is some news. And of course, with that comes quite a bit of planning, quite a significant bit of cost as well. And in terms of time, that is something that is going to be taking a large proportion of my free time over the next 12 months, essentially. So, which is obviously a very, very wonderful thing, but it does have slight consequences on the YouTube channel. And that is really why, for the most part, there's been the one video a day with the one series, the F1 Manager Lotus series. And that's just going to be the reality really for the next year or so. Obviously, once FM comes out, we'll probably have a big burst of Football Manager every day, and then after Christmas, we'll sort of diversify again. But yeah, obviously, it's a very special thing. Me and my fiance have been together 8 years. When later this month, so I guess a long time coming, and that will be something very special next year. But of course that does have impact on it. Back at work now as well, full time, and I do have a leadership role within my school, so I'm not I do have a few more responsibilities that I have to look after, rather than just planning lessons and and delivering those. And of course, another side project that I do have is the Snooker Loopy podcast, which obviously myself and Tom Mayhew do that. Long-time viewers of the channel should be very familiar with Tom, but if you're not, please do go and check out our Snooker Loopy podcast. We have such a ball doing it. It's a bit of a comedy snooker podcast, and I've really loved doing that over the last couple of years. We haven't done a podcast recently, but that will be coming back into sort of weekly to fortnightly regularity as the snooker season kicks off properly. Keeping going with the snooker theme, I also have got back into playing competitive snooker. So over the last year or so, I've been playing at my local snooker club in a league. Last year, I played in a league and finished second in it, actually, which was really, really good. Not too far off first place, but first place never lost a match in the league. I lost a fair few, but still finished second. Fantastic, really, for me, you know, somebody that's never had any coaching in snooker. I've always just sort of relied on the way I play snooker naturally, I guess. And I don't practice much. I don't play in a lot of competitive matches, so to finish second was awesome. The new season of that is kicking off this week as well. Many more players involved in that. If I can replicate second again, that would be amazing. I don't think it'll happen this year. I think there'll be a few better players, and maybe people will know how I play it a little bit better this season. So again, all things that you know have taken up little proportions of my time outside of YouTube, and YouTube is still such a big passion project for me. I still love doing it, and I know my good friend Toby Jones, who I've known for absolutely years now. It's crazy how long we've known each other, and I know a lot of people that have been on this channel for a long time will know exactly who he is. You know, we did the Joe and Toby Talk podcast, we did the Tuesday night live podcast. And we collaborated on so many things, and you know, he's had a very on and off relationship with YouTube all his life, really. He's recently come back to doing little bits and pieces. So if you were a fan of Toby, he is doing little bits of Football Manager over on his channel. So go and check that out. But he often asks me, how do you keep motivated? Are you seriously still enjoying it as much as you ever were? And the honest answer is yes. You know, one of the first things I think about really is, how am I going to get my next video up on the channel? And it's a bit of an obsession. It's a bit of an addiction, really, I suppose. And it's something that I can't really live without. So YouTube will always be a part of me. But over the next year, it takes a little bit of a sidestep, if you like. We're going to still aim for daily content forever on this channel. That's what this channel is about. I just can't promise that we'll have the huge volume of videos that you're perhaps used to over the last few years. You know, sometimes 2 videos a day, sometimes even 3 videos on special days. But what I'm really enjoying at the moment is F1 Manager. I'm loving the Lotus series. It's really getting good. So if you haven't been watching it, please check it out. We're getting towards the end of season 2 now, and we're starting to make our way up the grid. I think season 3 is going to be a big one, but season 4 is going to be the one where we win the championship, I reckon. That's my early prediction on it. I'm loving doing the Panini Adrenaline XL trading cards. Not many people watch it, but I am absolutely loving collecting those cards this year. I am officially 13 cards away from completing my collection in that. So that is going to be amazing, because I've never, ever completed a football trading card collection. I've obviously got the Turbo Attacks, which brought about the incredible Michael Schumacher relic card. So I've got a bit of his race suit behind me somewhere, and you can see, you know, I'm a collector. It's such an awesome piece of memorabilia, and here he is, right here, and you can see him there. I've put him in a nice little case, but Michael Schumacher. That's a bit of his race-worn race suit in that card. Incredibly rare card. Goes for about 300 quid on eBay. I've not actually seen any other YouTubers get this, so that was really special. And I only bought one box of these cards that you can possibly get it in. So that's something I'm really enjoying. I know it doesn't get the views on the channel, but I'm really enjoying that. And yeah, that's kind of where I'm at my life at the moment. And I hope it sort of makes sense of maybe why I've not been putting myself through replying to every comment, responding to every comment. I'm reading every comment, but not necessarily sticking that hard on everyone like I have done in the past. And why I haven't kept going with certain series. And that's just going to be the reality, I think, for the next sort of year or so. And maybe as we go into our 10th year on YouTube, that's going to be the second push, if you like, the second wind, and trying to really push this channel past 50,000 subscribers, hopefully up towards 100,000 subscribers. And I think over the next 12 months, it's going to be about thinking about how do I put that into place? How do I possibly turn this channel that's been steadily growing for 9 years now, and how do I turn it from a growth of that into a growth of that? And that's going to be the key, really, of turning the dream, the ambition, the possibly unrealistic dream, fairy tale dream, into maybe a partial reality. That's something we're going to have to think about. And I really want you guys on board with that. A few people have become members recently, which is brilliant. And it shows that perhaps there's some potential there to really build a community. It's difficult for me because obviously with the profession I'm in, that kind of rules out streaming. There's no rules against me streaming. I just don't want to be live on the air. A student from school comes in and starts saying some daft things. I don't really want that uncomfortable feeling when I'm live on air. It's fine if, it's very, very rare, but sometimes I do get a weird comment from a student and it's easy to just block comments. But, when you're live, it is difficult. So streaming and actually talking to you guys live is something that's going to be very difficult. But, if you want to see Q&As, if you want to see more of these channel update type things, then get involved in the comments, get involved, leaving a like and that sort of thing. And we can check in and we can have those conversations. But yeah, maybe there is a potential there to really make a strong community that can push us forward, and we can do it together, because it's not my channel, it's our channel essentially. There's nearly 30,000 people out there that enjoy the content, or have at least enjoyed the content at some point to click that subscribe button. So yeah, thank you essentially for being there every single day for me, and you are a big help out there, and give a massive purpose and passion to my life, and it will remain like that for a very, very long time, I can assure you of that. But some very exciting things going on the side. Obviously, as I say, the wedding happening in the summer holidays next year, which is going to be amazing. It's going to be stressful, it's going to be emotional probably, but it's the next phase of my life, which is going on. When I started this channel, hadn't even met the person that I am going to be marrying, so that is a pretty crazy thing. You guys have been here a lot longer, so yeah, you're not invited though, I'm afraid. Although maybe one or two of you that are watching, I'm hoping they're watching, will probably get an invite, to be honest. So yeah. Anyway, I will stop rambling now. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.